Hey everybody, welcome back to Damn Straight Talk. I'm your host G-Love. It's my co-host Fitz. We got two special guests with us here today. We got Caswell and my boy T-Pat. Today we'll be covering morale, diversity, and inclusion. So, we're gonna start off with morale. Fitz, what do you think brings a unit morale, and how do you believe from the top down they should handle that?
All right, so I'm gonna just start with what I think morale is. I think it's more so like the spirit of the unit, right? So for me personally, I just believe in like inclusion, like keeping everybody on one track, whether your personalities are the same, different, whatever it is, but keeping everybody happy, keeping everybody progressing towards a common goal. So in order to do that, I feel like we gotta, one, include everybody, two, find a common ground. So whatever that be, whether it's sports, whether it's learning a job, whether it's just talking crap like we normally do, like whatever it is, like figure it out and move forward from there. Y'all got anything different?
Definitely got to be versatile.
Thanks.
Like versatile is a key. So I agree with everything you said.
But you got to think, you can't have morale if you don't have inclusion. Because you mentioned sports. Think about it. How many times at any base do you do sports and you say, okay, let's do a sports day? You're going to have that airman off to the side that's never played sports, never done that. And you think about it when if I walk in an office right now and I say, hey, let's go play football. All these guys are going to be like, yeah, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. If an airman walks in and says, hey, let's go LARP, we're going to make fun of that dude.
We're going to make fun of him.
And
I'm a LARP, bro.
You're going to LARP. But how many people are? And
yeah,
that's the thing is, if you know the first reaction is I'm going to get made fun of because this is what I like to do, then are you really going to put it out there, this is what I want to do?
I think it depends on the personality.
Yeah, and also like, it's all about knowing your people at the end of the day. So if you got people that they have different interests, one person likes to play sports, one person likes to LARP, another dude is just out there and he on his making money tip, like you got to find something that you all got,
common
that
ground.
all of you guys have in common. So,
yeah. So like even in this circle, we all like to play sports. You're not really a sports player, but you get out there just to have a good time, right?
Yeah.
Have a good time,
anything, open-minded.
And then on the back end, like we still hang out outside of that. Outside of sports, we hang out like on a regular basis. So it's like, hey man, inclusion. Find a way to is what it is. Right. Find a way to include people, find a way to pretty much relate to somebody. Like even if somebody LARPs, that don't mean you can't have a conversation with them. That don't mean you can't find a common ground. I.e. the tall guy on our shift, he's not somebody I would hang out with regularly, right? No. However, when we talk, we find a common ground and we press from there.
I think
Go ahead.
Another thing is don't force it on people, you know. Like if you ask somebody to do something, they don't want to do it, boom, let it go, and then find something that they may like that you can relate to. Kind of like you said, common ground.
But see, once you get onto theirs and you get them comfortable with you, that's how you get them to start pulling over to yours. It's just like you were talking about, the tall guy on our shift. Who would have guessed he can catch a football?
Man.
I mean, when we were playing volleyball, I would have never
He's
thought.
6'5".
Nah, bro. Nah.
No, not at all.
Yeah, he's 6'5", but
I had confidence.
when you talk to him,
I believe in my people.
When you talk to him, oh yeah, okay. So we pick teams right now. Before any of us saw that, would you have picked him number one?
I put him on my team.
No, would you have picked him number one was the question.
Number one?
You want the truth, you
captains?
can't handle the truth.
Who the captains?
I'm saying, if we pick
who was the other captain?
Me. If we were picking teams, would you have picked them number one?
No, I'm picking Caswell.
Cool. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I would have picked him if he was there, though.
Yeah, eventually. But my first assumption wasn't that he was athletic at all, you know? And then listen to him talk, you like, oh nah, this ain't the dude for sports. But then he show up and he show out. So it's like, yeah. So outside of that, like what do you view as morale?
Just really happiness, kind of. Like how do you make, so y'all got the different teams, I'm not really on a team, but whatever team is on my shift, I rely on y'all, you know, for happiness. Cause I'm in a 1D slot out here.
Yeah.
So if I can interact with the teams, then I'm cool, you feel me? If I can react with our section chiefs, flight chiefs, all of that stuff, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Hey,
That's just from a non perspective. You know?
You are
back
like
on.
a nana though. Like you a nana.
Yeah, like I'm a nana.
Yeah,
Like,
you're nana.
You don't gotta say it.
He's like, hey, y'all done said it already, all right?
I get it.
Oh, we don't smoke, we don't.
I know. But no, like you're saying though, and the thing about morale though is it should come from the top, but morale goes both ways. It goes all the way from the airman too.
Yeah.
Because like you were saying earlier, you got to know your people. You got to know what they're interested in. And some of your airmen are going to have ideas of what they want to do.
Yeah.
And you've got to give them the opportunity to come up with it. It can't always be leadership coming up with, okay, let's go do this, let's go do this, let's go do this.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, me and you, we suck at losing. Absolutely hate losing.
Y'all
You
better
looking like
than me.
who's that about?
Y'all better than me. I'm just gonna tell you
Well,
right now.
I'm just saying, but then when you're going to do morale and you're going to do the inclusion like we're talking, sometimes you got to know, okay, we're going to go do this, but I'm definitely taking an L on this one. I'm going to go look like a fool because I ain't got a clue what I'm doing, but
you getting in there.
yeah.
I think that's the heart of a competitor, just getting in there. But I think morale goes deeper than just like playing sports or like doing physical activities. Sometimes it's just like, hey, this person know they want to like pursue education. They know they want to try to win awards or put themselves in the best position to promote. Like in that sense, if they don't feel like nobody's taking care of them, whether you playing sports or not having a good time, they still gonna feel like they're excluded if you're not doing something that's gonna help them get towards where they want to
Sometimes
be.
you just gotta include people.
Yeah,
'cause
for sure.
It's been a lot of times where I was just like nervous to get in a slot, but when somebody put me there, I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would honestly say some of the best times in my career came from things I didn't want to do. So I didn't want to do honor guard. Listen, that's crazy. So one of my flight chiefs, he came to me. He was like, "Hey, how you feel about honor guard?" I was like, "Oh, that's not me." This was way back in my airman days. He was like, "Oh, that's not me. It's not my personality." He's like, "Why not?" It's like, "Nah, I'm too reserved for that." He's like, "Cool, you start Monday." I'm like, "Man, this is right here," So we we start Monday. I end up meeting like my best friend. Like I just went to his wedding maybe a couple years ago, and we still keep in contact. I drove from Richmond, Virginia, down to Florida to visit him and his wife, and then up to New York to stay with them. Like, I still keep in contact with them to this day, and that was like years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago, and we still like best of friends. So like some of the things you don't want to do, like is some of the things that lead to like the best parts of your career or most efficient people being in your life. So
Yeah, I think like for me, like morale comes from, I know when I was an airman, at first I didn't have, my morale was on zero. Like I had, it was the approachableness of my supervisor and the other people that were appointed above me. Like I had ideas, but when I went to go talk about them, they were closed off. Till I got this one supervisor, and like we're still cool to this day. I went TDY to Germany, hung out with him. That's my guy. But he made me feel like my ideas mattered. He made me take pride. Like I had pride in what I did, but pride in everything that I did, even when it came to work.
even stuff you didn't care about.
Yeah, even stuff I didn't care about. I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to try my best to do it. Like, because they were gamers, hardcore gamers. They were all about Gears of War at the time. I'm showing my age right now, but because you know that game.
I see the gray in your beard.
Hey man, it is what it is. But
you should shave your head.
Yeah. So
Too late.
it's all about like for leadership for me, like morale wise, you got to hear your airmen. You got to hear what they're saying. Don't just write them off as, oh, that's stupid. I ain't never going to do that. So like from leadership's perspective, I feel like you just got to be open to hearing these new ideas. Try to figure out what you can do to make these people feel included. Do what you can to make them take pride in what it is that they do. And that's how you like build morale, like for real.
And not just from a work standpoint or what they day-to-day hobbies are, a family standpoint too. Like if they got a family, you got to be able to relate to that. Yeah. Even if you don't have, a wife, kids, none of that, still like open yourself up or have, that sympathy for it.
Definitely.
For sure. A lot of people come to work with like a bunch of like closet demons that you would never know about unless you ask questions, unless you communicate, unless you have an open dialogue with somebody, right? So like,
Yeah.
even myself, like I used to come to work like I'm naturally a quiet person until I start drinking, and then I'm like, oh, whatever. But like I would come to work with issues and like try to put my game face on. But you can never break through that game phase if you're not asking those questions, if you're not involving yourself with your
showing that you care.
Exactly. Like not just showing, but like literally pursuing stuff. Like pursuing an interest, a common interest in an individual.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's the hard part for leadership because I'm 19 years in. How long have you been in?
10, almost 11.
There you go. The Air Force has changed since you've came in. 19 years ago when I first came in, my senior, my chief, we never talked to those guys. A staff sergeant would tell me, go stand by this door right here, and I would go stand there. Don't know why I'm standing there. People walk by, what are you doing?
Shut up and color approach.
Exactly, but that's where a lot of your guys that have been in 20 plus years, they think, and they can't, it's hard for them to get out of that aspect of, okay, my life sucked when I was an airman. I'm gonna make all these guys' lives suck, but why did their life have to suck? Because mine was horrible as an airman, and that's what gets forgot about is the Air Force has to evolve. The military has to evolve. But as the world changes, the Air Force has to change with it.
You gotta be an innovator.
For sure. Definitely for sure. Yeah. So how do we make sure that happens as leaders?
Communicating with each other for real. Like if you see somebody that's in your same peer or even above, you know, like doing something that you wouldn't agree with, check them on the spot, correct them right there.
Yeah. So I don't think it matters what rank you are, like in terms of morale. It shouldn't matter if somebody outranks somebody or somebody's like down the chain of command. Like if somebody is down, somebody's like depressed, do something to build them up, whether they up or down the chain of command. If you feel like you can't speak up, you're wrong. In the Air Force, like, that's what we're here for. We are here to include each other. We're here to progress. We're here to be innovative, things like that. So like if you sitting at a table and you quiet, you're wrong. If you have an idea, 9 times out of 10, somebody has an idea on something. Somebody has a thought. Somebody has a statement to make. But because we're sitting at a table with 15 other people, we feel scared to voice our opinion because we're going to be afraid of like how people going to feel, react, or judge us. When in all actuality, ain't nobody giving 2 craps about what you about to say, right? In terms of like judging you. Like nobody's judging you. It's just like get out what you got to say and then let everybody respond to it. Like don't think that somebody's going to be like, oh, he said something like that don't make no sense, like he's a dumbass. No, that's not how it works. Literally, but we may mind screw ourselves into thinking that. So we tend to be quiet at a table.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, it don't really matter like what your rank is. If you see something going on that you know is not right, you got to call them folks on that. And even when you're sitting, you know, we go through our meetings that we have during the week, our section chief meetings and all this other garbage that we got to do. I don't care if you the colonel, the chief master sergeant of the Air Force. If I feel like you're wrong, I'm gonna tell you you're wrong. That right there. Because it's as simple as somebody checking you from the door before you make a big mistake.
Yeah.
Like if I let you get out that room and I see this go on and somebody else correct you later on down the line, but your head is already filled up because you've been doing this for so long and I could have prevented that.
Yeah. So I'm big on like if you make a statement that's incorrect in public, you should be checked in public. So a lot of people don't like that concept. So a lot of people are like, oh, he's a colonel. Let me address him in private. No, he made whatever statement it was. He or she made whatever statement in public. So let me address you in public. Why do you think that's right? Why is it okay for you to say that? Why is it okay for you to do that? Why is it okay for you to belittle my guys in front of everybody? Like, so I'm coming at you how you came at my guys. I'm coming at you how you came at me. Like I'm a meet in the middle type of guy. So
yeah, a lot of people don't have that mindset. You know, like a lot of people they gonna go off what they, you know, brought up off of. You know, like. Respect rank instead of, you know, respect the person for who they are.
I think that's the big quality of the Air Force is like, yeah, you have to respect the rank, but you also can voice your opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I definitely love that concept of what the Air Force has to offer in that aspect.
You can't be scared of your past either.
No.
And the thing is, so many people, when an airman's going through issues or somebody lower ranking or even somebody higher ranking, I mean, financial issues. I'm a master sergeant. I got bills I can't pay. There's every now and then that, okay, am I going to make my truck payment or am I going to pay for my electric? Well, this one's just going to have to go overdue. It happens. It happens all the way up, happens all the way down. People get in trouble all the way up and all the way down. There's not very many senior NCOs in the military that has not had UIFs, Article 15s. It is what it is. But it's people, when an airman's going through it, that's when you feel isolated. And that's when morale goes down for that one individual. And if you think about it, when somebody gets in trouble, that's where the inclusion goes out the window because that guy gets pushed over here.
He's isolated.
Yeah, he gets pushed over here because I don't want to be associated with him because that will go back to your Air Force. That goes back to the Air Force EPR system. You made a comment earlier about competitiveness. That's what the Air Force is based around. It's around competitiveness.
In terms of promotion?
Yeah, but that's why I try to breed that. I try to breed that competitiveness on shift. I want my shift better than all the other shifts as a whole. But now on my shift, everybody comes in as equal. You're all equal. It's your job and your duty to separate yourself and make you better than this other person.
For sure. So I don't see nothing wrong with a competitive spirit at all. I think the shirt said it best. He's like, competitiveness breeds excellence.
Yep.
I'm cool with that, bro. Like if you want to go to the depths of hell in our competitive nature or whatever we finna compete in, let's do it. May the best man win. I'm gonna shake your hand when it's over. I really don't care like who actually wins. I care more about the journey than anything. Not to be like on some participation trophy thing because I don't agree with that.
I hate that.
But I do agree with like if you try your hardest and you come up short, as long as you did everything in your power to be the best version of yourself at the time of the competition.
Competitiveness makes it fun at the end of the day too.
It does.
Especially
even the shit talking, man. Like just saying something to somebody else is like, you know how we be, man.
Yes, I know.
I
He didn't shake my hand last night.
Okay, that's a whole nother story.
Just saying.
and you gotta be able to show love after that too.
I announced myself.
No, go ahead. Tell the story. Ain't no need to leave that out. Go ahead. So listen, it's something simple though, right? So we playing 2K, right? And I beat this dude 47, 50, 100 times.
We haven't played that many times. Probably been about 24.
Whoa. We played like 40 times. Whatever. It was probably like 40 times. He beat me one time for the first time by 1 point yesterday, right? He was up by like 20 points. Were you not? I came back and he beat me by 1 point within like the final couple seconds. And I was like, oh, we tied 1-1. We got to break this. He was like, nah, I'm gone. He a petty dude. That's not.
Can I get the camera, please?
That is not.
Bring the camera over here, please.
That is not.
All right. So
he celebrated the Super Bowl off of one win.
So what I'm going to tell you is,
man,
if you lose to somebody 1,000 times in a row, right? You trying your best. I don't care if you won by half a point. Celebrate your victory and run with it. You don't need to go back. For what?
You didn't want to take that L? No. So
for what? What you need to go back for? You won. That's like me saying
it was tied 1-1.
Time out. Let me talk real quick.
Go spit your thing.
That's
man.
like me sitting there and making tech my first time, right? And I'm like, you know what?
Throw that in there.
You know what?
Yeah, I did.
I had a promotion statement. I didn't really earn that. Let me go back and test again.
Who said that?
I won.
Wait, what?
If you got a promotion statement, you earned that.
Yeah,
you
You earned
Did
that.
they just give you the promotion statement?
I won.
What?
They just
No,
rock, paper,
that ain't the
scissors
same
down.
concept, big dog.
It's the same concept
No,
to me.
it's like saying
I won by a point.
That's saying like the Lakers won a game, the Heat won a game, and then the Heat walked off. Like, oh yeah, that's over.
They
No,
should have. You
that's
saw
not
what
how it
happened.
worked, man. That ain't how, we left on the tie. We left on the tie. That is disrespectful.
We're supposed to be talking about morale. Leave my 2K victory
can't
alone.
stand it.
I feel.
As you can see, he is hurt by this. He is
I'm not
upset.
gonna lie, I'm a little bothered, but that's the competitive nature.
It was just like that.
My morale is low right now.
We were 2-2. We couldn't leave. We were all tired as yeah. We were wore out and didn't want to play another one. But you can't leave 2-2.
But both parties were in that. You know, sometimes when you set,
That's why we came back and won. But
when you don't win as often, you value the little things.
Look. Here's the deal. I get it. Every now and then you gotta let your kids win.
Yeah.
You gotta let the kids win because they want you to come back and
That's like
play.
my firstborn son, so
Yeah.
it's cool. You know?
Yeah.
I give him a victory every now and again. Yeah, it's all good.
I had out processing to do today, all right? It's a long day.
Nah, it's all good, man.
But I have a question for you, Caswell.
What's up?
What do you feel leadership could do better, like the senior NCO rank, to, boost morale? Not just here, but like on a grand scale, like Air Force wide.
That's a good question. I say that because that's got multiple levels of answers.
Yeah.
Step one is to forget what the Air Force was, because the Air Force is no longer that. That's why I go and talk to these airmen. I'm computer stupid. I don't know what half these games are. I'm a country guy, so there are a lot of the technology I don't get. And the way I was brought up and the way I was sent through my Air Force career, it doesn't work for these guys. So when I go to him, okay, how can I make it better? And you have to be able to take that feedback. I think that's the biggest thing is senior NCO wise, we get so resistant. And I'm included to it. I mean, I've made the comments, okay, this is dumb. Why are we coddling? Why are we babying? We made a comment, we don't like participation trophies. You're absolutely right. But when you get that brand new airman in was raised off of participation trophies.
And they celebrating those wins.
Yeah. So you've got to, I like it. So you've got to understand, you've got to take that. And that's why we develop. That's why it's called, you have PME and you have all this developmental stuff that we're supposed to do. And I think that's where, as a senior NCO, officer corps, however you want to put it, leadership, that's what we fail to do. We fail to develop these guys. Because it's like, we just had a guy put on tech in our shop. Do you know how to, our chief was talking about today, do you know how to write an LOR? Do you know how to write an OSC? Granted, those are bad, but I guarantee he's never been taught it. And the EPRs, when they come through, have you ever wrote an EPR? Has anybody ever sat down and got feedback? That's where I get irritated as a senior NCO. EPR hits me, I send it up. I think it's good. Never get to hear any feedback from it until it's signature time.
And I think that's the screwed up part, because even when you ask for feedback, people are like, oh yeah, for sure, I got you. And then there's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's up with that feedback? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna send it to you. But you continue to get like the string along, you know, like keep pulling that carrot.
But that's because when you like, I'm gonna use the EPR because that's the easiest one. So you write your EPR, you give it to me. I'm gonna show you what changes I made, right? Now I'm gonna send it up. Well, they're gonna say this and this and this and this is dumb. And I don't think you'd have to do it that way. That's where, like I said, you can't be scared. Truthfully, you can't be scared of failure. You can't be scared of messing up, because now I have to come back to you and say, okay, look, this is what I thought it should have been, but this is the way that they want it. This is the way I messed up. Yeah. And I think that's where a lot of senior NCOs, once they get that top stripe, they think, okay, my crap don't stink anymore, and I can't admit.
I think part of getting that top stripe though is the acceptance of those tough adult conversations. The fact that you have to be willing and able to have that discussion and be like, all right, I'm gonna swallow my pride and I'm gonna make adjustments. I don't think you can really earn, I don't think you should, I'm gonna say really, but I don't think you should earn that top stripe if you're not willing or able to take that feedback.
So off of what you just said, do you feel like the majority of people can accept that top feedback that have that top stripe?
I feel like it's 50-50. I feel like initially no, but after sitting there and like literally thinking about it, I've actually had conversations with people where they came back like, you actually right, or whatever. And I can definitely do it. Like I may not. We have tough conversations all the time, like all the time.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, but it's no animosity. It's like we're adults, man. We're mature enough to make the decisions, or we're mature enough to be like, all right, I don't agree with you right now, but I'll sit and think on it. I may not tell you that, but I'll sit and think. I'm like, all right, yeah, you were right. Or vice versa. Like that's just how it goes, man.
Well, it's like, and like you said earlier, or I know you said it actually. You're a product of where you grow up. You're a product of how you grow up.
Yes.
And that's mentalities are different, and that's where a lot of that diversity comes from, is because it's a mental thing. It's how were you raised, and is it hard to get rid of some of those? Absolutely. I grew up in the country. I mean, I grew up, and to be 100% honest, I grew up around racist people. And is it easy to get rid of that? No. Do I still have some? Does it hit every now and then? Do I drive through certain neighborhoods, look around, click, lock the door? And
does that make you racist though? Because you lock the door because you don't feel safe?
I don't.
I ain't gonna cap. I did that before.
I locked my door. I'm about to say.
I like
but
that's a good segue into like the diversity topic. But
yes,
I don't feel like that's the issue. That's a bias. I don't think that's racism. That's you being biased to
that's not racist.
What's going on around you.
But let me ask you this. Because growing up in Arkansas, we have Little Rock, and we are told, you're white, don't get in this neighborhood because you're going to get shot. Plain and simple. And so as you grow up, you get told that over and over and over and over and over and over. Well, to be honest with you, I went to an airman's house and he lived in that neighborhood, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh crap, do I really want to go? Because one of these things is not going to be like the other. Get to the neighborhood.
No issues.
Well, no, they put me behind a barbecue grill. Then everybody was my friend.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah.
But
You
when
was
I
invited to the barbecue.
You added value.
But what I'm saying is, when I first walked up, everybody looked at me like
who's this dude?
Why is this white guy here?
I mean, that's because people have that perception, and they don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Normally,
And
I'm gonna be honest. When somebody white came around my neighborhood, it's because they were like the police. They were looking to lock you up or do something to you.
And they probably had the same perception you had, like don't go in that neighborhood, or if you
Or
see
we gotta
a
watch
white
out
person in
because
that
he-
neighborhood,
Yeah.
we gotta look out. You might be, a snitch or something.
No.
You might be looking out for something.
Well, and that's the thing is, like we were talking about with the diversity, and we can talk about it with the inclusion. I'm a weird hybrid, and I say that because I get the complete spectrum of it, the whole way around.
Of what?
I'm a senior NCO, first of all, right? But I walk in, people look at me and they judge instantly because
Your leg.
obviously my leg. And then when you do inclusion, it's not just like a racial inclusion. It's actually a sex inclusion, male and female. Yeah. So how many times I've done it, and I still do it, and I have to control myself. When you see a female come out on the maintenance, she ain't gonna be able to lift a toolbox. She ain't gonna be able to do this. She ain't gonna be able to. I get the same thing. This guy's not gonna be able to lift this part. He's not gonna be able to go up and down ladders. So you get pushed back, and once again, to go to the inclusion and go back to my leg is when you get hurt. Think about it. How many times does a person go on a profile and we kick them to the side? True. We say, goodbye, you're useless, I can't use you. Now, here this guy is, he's gone. And depending on what's going through his life, depending on what all is happening, when you can't control what you can control, and you're struggling for that one little strand to hold on to, your military career is it.
Yeah.
And so when you get pushed off to the side, that's that one little strand. I've done talks before. There's one point in time I can tell you what a barrel of a Savage 300 shotgun tastes like. The only reason I'm here is I forgot to take safety off. I tried to kill myself because the military and the Air Force turned me into a number.
You feel like you were isolated?
There was no feel like it. I was AFSOC, I broke my leg, I'm in the hospital. And I get back to work and they say, look, you're useless, I can't use you on the flight line. We're gonna pigeonhole you into CTK in the tool crib. The tool crib goes, you're on crutches, you can't do this shit. Go away. And then the Air Force says, okay, well now we don't know what we're gonna do with you because you gotta go through limb salvage, so see you later. So I got balled up and I got thrown away. And it happens to a lot of people. And it happens to a lot of people on the injured side. And it happens to a lot of females in the maintenance career field. And think about it, normally when a female gets pregnant, first words out of a lot of people's mouths is, oh, she wanted off the flight line.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, and so it's when I think that's where the Air Force gets it wrong. I think that's where senior NCOs get it wrong. To go back to your original question when you was asking me, our biggest issue we have is we are so focused on the racial side of it. We fail to think about and we try to include the females, but then like I said, we fail to think about the injured. We fail to think about people going through personal issues. And
I think
we just
that's
kind of push them
circumstantial,
away. But
I think it's circumstantial though. Like every shop is not, especially not like the maintenance world. I think that's a maintenance issue. I don't think medical would have that same issue if somebody got pregnant.
No.
So I think it's circumstantial. Like give a different career field, like non-nurse, medical, admin type of thing. I don't think they had the same perception that we have in maintenance.
okay.
You know, I think we kind of fall into that same realm as sec folk, where we would look at things like that, but outside of that, I think it would be different.
Okay.
So it might not be the same as far as, y'all day-to-day job, but when it comes to going TDY, deployments, things like that, we take those things into account. Like we got somebody that's, on quarters every so often, we're not about to put them on a deployment, a TDY.
I think that makes sense though. Like, we all have a mission, we all have a job to do, right?
Yeah.
And if somebody's not there to fulfill that, somebody's got to backfill that. So we feel like we've been slighted because this person is purposely trying to avoid work, whether they are or are not. And we're going to feel that way regardless. So,
correct me if I'm wrong, but if y'all do have somebody, that's on a profile, on quarters so often, and y'all put them in a certain position, would y'all still deploy that person?
I think it depends on the reason. Somebody pregnant? No. You're not
No,
not,
no.
We're not talking somebody just pregnant. You talking about like somebody that's got a profile, say, somebody that's always hurt. They hurt all the time.
They always sick, something.
All right, cool. And like you as their supervisor feel like they coming up with this stuff because they don't want to work. All right, cool. So nothing legitimate. All right. They usually get put in those positions like CTK, like mock, debrief. Basically what they do to you, even though you want to work. But you have situations and circumstances that led to a bias that put you in the same position as people that don't want to do their jobs.
Again, I think it's all circumstantial though.
That is circumstantial.
So I think it depends on the individual and their work ethic, right? So I don't feel like not your circumstance, but somebody who's like hurt, like playing basketball, you roll your ankle, you on crutches, like you can't really control that, but you have the work ethic before. Like I don't think nobody's gonna really mind the fact that you had to get out of work. Yeah. But if you are somebody who makes excuses, you somebody who don't put forth effort, I think naturally people will be like, oh, here go this MF again. Like on some avoid work type of
Okay, but now think about it. So, let's go to your basketball. You roll your ankle, you hurt yourself.
I'm right
You're on crutches for a while, right?
in production.
And I get it. Now, they're part of a team to begin with before they get hurt working the flight line. So they get injured, and then typically that's when they do get sent to those different jobs. They don't get to stay on that team.
So
and it's almost like in the maintenance career field, we think when you get hurt, you lose your knowledge.
it's not that you lose your knowledge, you lose your capability. So, especially in maintenance, there are certain things you can't do. There are 2-man lifts for 25 pounds and over.
Which is ridiculous.
It is definitely ridiculous. However, that is the regulation.
Yeah.
So do you want somebody who rolled their ankle to do that? Walking up the flight deck stairs or crew entry stairs, I'm sorry? No, you don't. So you take them off the plane to put them somewhere where they can be, Air Force favorite words, gainfully employed.
Yeah.
That's why that happens. It's not necessarily to do that to belittle somebody or exclude somebody, isolate anybody. It's literally to be there to make sure we conform with the regulation.
Okay.
Now, what you would still include those people where you could?
Where you could, but you can't, like in terms of maintenance, you can't work on a plane if you can't lift 25 pounds. Like that's not overhead. That's just a together,
just
like a 2-man lift.
Yeah.
Like carrying the aircraft batteries for a C-17 up the stairs. You can't do that with a sprained ankle. Like, can you? I probably would try it, but the Air Force don't want you to try it because it brings forth, added injury or potential added injury.
And back to what you said about it being circumstantial. I'm going to, if you legitimately hurt yourself or you legitimately got circumstances that is not allowing you to do your job to the fullest of your capability, I'm going to look out for you. If you are that person that is always coming up with excuse of why they can't do something and why they can't do that, I'm not putting you on no deployment. I'm going to make sure that you work. You going to work. You probably going to work harder than the people that's out on the line, because the fact that you are literally trying to get out of work by these things, but your profile says you can do this is what you're going to be doing all day and tomorrow and the next day. It's not going to get by me. There's certain people that let that stuff slide because they're like, oh, well, he's not worth it and he blah, blah, blah. Let's throw him back here in this office back here so we don't got to see him.
That is a pet peeve of mine. Hiding an NCO is crazy to me. What's the point of this person being an NCO if we are going to hide them? Why did we allow them to promote in the first place? Why are we having this NCO act and operate as a senior airman A1C?
Yeah. Why are they still getting paid the same as the person that's doing everything?
Yeah, think about it. What does that do to the morale of the squadron?
It kills it.
You're absolutely correct.
Definitely
You're absolutely correct.
It kills it.
So,
but the devil's advocate on that, right? So you have this person who avoids work and they legitimately are hurt. They get the other side of that straw, where we already automatically assume that they are POSs. and we treat them as such, even if it's a legitimate injury. Is that the right thing to do?
Think about it. CTK, the tool crib. What do we think about everybody that goes to tool crib? 9 times out of 10.
The perception is
There you go. There you go.
That's the
what I'm saying.
perception.
But what if they go back there and kill it?
And they can do that.
Yes.
They can do that.
It's
They
possible.
can
I'm not
definitely do
sure
that.
what.
No, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
You're absolutely
no.
correct.
And it happened. So I was stationed out in Washington at McCoy Air Force Base, right? CTK had the perception of the guys who went back there, and some of them had some legitimate issues or whatever. And I went back there as a section chief to like try to mitigate the people that were coming back there, right? And I've always been the NCO or a person that will accept like the bad apples in the squadron. I love that stuff because people give up on these people, but the thing is they're giving up on a perception that they can't help them out. They can't make them better. They're giving up on those individuals because they don't feel like they're the right leaders for them. Give them to me. I'll take them. I may not have the answers in the first month, but I'm gonna figure that shit out. Like I'm gonna find what drives this individual. And if me as an NCO, especially now transitioning into the senior NCO tier, like if I can't figure out how to motivate my airmen, I'm not worth two shit as a senior NCO.
That comes into, knowing their family life, knowing their background, all that.
All of that.
But that
stuff goes
And like you said, like when I was at Cannon, my supervisor, the one I was talking about earlier, his name's Doug Cochran. He ain't gonna mind that I shouted him out. But he was sent to CTK to get CTK in shape because they saw what he did for the shift that we had and the folks that people didn't want to deal with. Like when I came in, I had a whole attitude. I didn't want to work for nobody. I didn't want to do this. I'm gonna do my job and I'm gonna go home. He found what motivated me, so they sent him back there. He switched the whole demographic of CTK up, the whole way that people looked at it, because when he went back there, he got to know his people. And that's what the Air Force needs to do, is have folks that care about people. Because there's some people that only look out for self, and there's other that's going to look out for they folks first and then take care of them.
You know what I don't like is when folks look out for other people to promote self.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
I
Like,
don't like that.
oh, I'm put you up for this war, but they say that so they can put it on their EPR.
So they can put it on their stuff.
Yeah, like, come on, bro. Like, give a genuine fuck about your people.
That's
Like,
the difference between a real senior NCO and an E7 through an E9. That's the big difference. And and what you have to understand is, and you're not going to fall into the trap, but a lot of senior NCOs fall into this trap because the way you are, the way your mind works, there's no way you're going to fall in the trap, because now you could end up like I'd have, to where I've been told there's no way I'm ever making senior. And the reason
I'm
I
cool
wouldn't,
with it.
I am too. I'm 100% accepting of that, because I know that I say stuff that's not going to make people above me happy. It's just not going to happen. But it's what they need to hear. And that's how you're going to, and when you're asking about what senior NCOs need to do and what we can do to make their, that's what we can do. Okay, cool. I'm a master sergeant. Am I going to make senior? Nope. Never see chief? Absolutely not.
Honestly, in the simplest terms, look out for your people. Don't kiss ass.
That's the most important thing to me.
The worst, that's another one of my, I have a lot of pet peeves. But that's
okay.
Kissing somebody's ass is something you would never see me do. I would sit in a room quiet before I decide, oh, I'm about to brown nose this dude. I will not. I cannot. My personality will not allow it. Like, I would feel disrespectful towards myself.
I love me too much to brown nose somebody else.
Who you telling?
I'm gonna kiss my own ass before I kiss yours.
I'm probably not even gonna kiss my ass. I'm that. You know?
So so just say those positions, debrief, mock, CTK. If a senior NCO gets put in those, but they not really, injured on the profile, none of that, you think they look at that as a setback?
You said, a senior NCO? Yes.
Yes,
absolutely.
it's definitely a setback.
It's absolutely, if you get put in one of those positions, your squadron has given up on you.
You screwed up in some capacity. Those positions aren't designed for a senior NCO. If you're gonna be like a section chief, makes sense. But if you're gonna be like an operator,
no, that's what I'm saying. As a section chief position.
Oh no, section chief is section chief. Like sometimes you run out of positions to put people, so you have like the
here. Here is a very weird.
So your
place.
section chief, here, you would think they don't look at that as a setback.
No,
I don't think so. I don't think you could. So we got like the 3 shifts of section chiefs for like the maintenance flight, right? Maughan needs a section chief. There's an official duty title for it.
Yeah. So
that's fine.
The section chief, the way you have to look at it for the maintenance career field is you have airplanes and you have people. Airplanes are your production side of the house. Everything's black and white. It's all in a book. It tells us how to live our life. It tells us how to work on this plane. It tells us what to do. People, there's no set doctrine. You have to live in the gray area when it comes to people.
You just got to be versatile.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah. I think the key to maintenance on the flight line, off the flight line, is to be flexible.
Because you never know what's going to happen.
At all.
This plane could have been fine when you left last night. You come back in, and everything, as soon as you start that engine up,
or
everything
not even
gone.
just planes, like the schedule itself.
Schedule
Like
itself?
they can be 3 planes on the schedule, and then they all fall off. You're like, oh yeah, we good.
Or
all
you
of a
could
sudden
think-
you got 2
yeah.
more planes coming in. Like that's just maintenance in itself.
You could think you got a free weekend. Oh, we cool. We about to turn up. No.
Nah.
Plane dropped out the sky. They ain't even called in.
For no reason. That's why we keep like standby crews and stuff like that. Like, but even in terms of like positions, you got to be flexible. So like, there's a lot of master sergeants, tech sergeant, master sergeants here in Islip, right?
Too many.
Way too many, right? But there aren't enough positions to go around. So you have to be flexible and willing to step into something that may not be your comfort zone. There's nothing wrong with stepping outside of your comfort zone and
And even
experiencing
if
something
like,
new.
if you're in a position like how I was when I first got here, there was an expediter. There was already a shift NCOIC. That's what the title was back then. I went to my pro soup. I was like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to make master next year. Like, me sitting here without a title, and we got 67 tech sergeants around here that don't want to do nothing. I was like, what do I need to do? It's about that initiative that you show. There's other positions for you, especially if you got enough time. Like here at Insulic, like, especially at the 728 maintenance side, we have a boatload of techs, boatload of master selects, and it's just trying to figure out where in the world these people going to be at. If you don't talk to them folks that's up top, you just going to be stuck.
Yeah. So this is my guy, like my ace in the hole, right? And I hear where you're coming from, but when you said what you just said, I just felt like you just said, like you just tried to like slide in front of somebody. Like I don't know your position, I don't know like the whole backstory to that, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna slide in front of nobody. Like you do your job, I'm gonna do my job and make the best person shine. Like I know certain people like to play certain positions, but that's what I just heard from what you said. I
Oh no!
was trying to
When I did that, I didn't slide in front of nobody. I went to my pro suit and I said, "Hey, I can't grow here. I'm not taking nobody's spot from them on that team because they was already doing what they had to do."
Okay. Did you switch teams? Like would you?
I switched teams. When I got here, I was originally on B team,
Gotcha.
and I was just there. I was the lead tech out on the flight line. So I went to Sergeant Sanders. I was like, "Hey man," I was like, "I love it here. Love this team. Love everybody on it." I said, "But I'm trying to go up for something." I said, "And this title that I got right now is not doing anything for me. Like I feel like I could be doing more." He sat down with the rest of the pro soups and they figured out where I was going to go, and I ended up on 18.
That's
the best team.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. But that's when you have to look at it and you have to think, and I think that's where senior NCOIs and the people that actually do the boards for the EPR, that's a big screw up. Is because it should not be duty title based. It should be content over duty title.
Yeah,
facts.
But when somebody looks at that duty title, if they see a tech sergeant or if they see a master sergeant working the flight line as a typical guy,
They frown upon it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And it's so awkward now.
but when you actually get into the EPR and you actually look at the EPR, that guy working the line might be doing some high profile missions, and the only reason he's here is because
The people,
he
man.
has to do that.
Yeah, that's when
Especially if you come
your
here
mind
late.
got to be like versatile.
If you come here late as a tech sergeant after everything's already established, all the duty titles are given out, things like that, people want to stand by for a position.
You got to make the
get-
best of what you got.
Yeah, on paper you getting screwed. It's just like.
But it's
okay.
people leaving every week, so you gotta, you might move up.
People leaving every week, but in maintenance, people don't leave out of those positions every week. That's not how it happens.
They got somebody else lined up for that
Yeah.
already.
So like even inbounds, you have people already assigned positions, right? Let's say one of those inbounds fall off, so we fill it with somebody who's already here, and then somebody else get projected to fill in for that inbound. What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
We gotta figure that out. So it's like it's a bunch of
It's
stuff.
weird. Like where we at right now, like my morale was stupid low at this point in time. And I was just like, I don't understand. Like I know I'm better than this dude, but they not gonna move him because he been in this long. And I'm like, you've been in this long, you ain't progressed yet, fam. Like, let me get my shine on. take a step back.
So when it comes to rank, I had a senior tell me this. Actually, he was my senior at my last base. He's retired now, but you can look at rank as a lighthouse. It goes around and it hits the ocean, and it's going to highlight you. It's going to highlight you as that ship for a little bit, and it'll stay on you. But as soon as it passes, it's past.
Yeah.
And that's that time you're getting highlighted. That's the time to go for it, and that's the time to get it. And like you're saying, and like you said, if you know your people, if you talk to your people, when they come to me, hey, what's your goal? I'm getting out of the military. I'm getting back. I'm retiring. I'm a master sergeant. And they can say they want to, or they can say, hey, but you can make senior, you can do this, you can do this. I get out, my daughter goes to college for free. She graduates in 2022.
But you have a clear vision. Everybody don't have that.
You're right. I do have a clear vision. But at the same token, though, then that's where you say, okay, this guy has a clear vision, or this person knows where they're going in their life. They know where they want to be. Sure. So let them slide. Let them do what they're doing. But I still have to perform as a master sergeant.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So you still have to do your job. I get that, but it's kind of like I tell you. How many times have I said I've sent stuff to people and said, okay,
do this.
Here's your information. Do not put my name on that.
Right, but even though you want to perform, like you don't want to go above master sergeant. If you get forced into those senior positions, you still need to perform.
You're gonna act that way.
I'm gonna.
I believe he will.
You put me in that position. I'm gonna do what I need to do.
But
Absolutely.
I've come across, my master sergeants where they had no, aspiration of going above master sergeant. And but when they get put in that senior position, it's like, oh, they not really. Cause senior, you're not in your career field anymore. They call it. You're supposed to be about your people. You feel me?
That transition from tech to master, like you're not really.
No.
Your job is not like aircraft production. That's not what it is. Like hands on. Like your job is people.
But that's when it comes into play. Like you need to be operating one rank above whatever you're at.
And like what I found out here, like while being at Insulic, I was like, tech sergeant ain't really a tech sergeant here. Like compared to like regular duty stations. Like my job was literally to make sure that folks was good, make sure that the planes was good. Like I felt like I took a step backwards, like as far as work wise, because COVID happened, we didn't really have that airflow, and I was just like, all I can do is make sure these people is good. Like that's my literally my job right now.
That's literally why I sit down with each person on the ship. Like, what do you want? Like, so a couple guys went to Kuwait, whatever. So the guys who were here, I sat down with them, and I came up with a plan. Everybody that I could at the time. I missed one person. I ain't gonna say his name, but I missed him, and then I just started making assumptions based off what everybody else said. And then I found out that he was getting out, and I was like, oh, my bad, chief. Like I was giving you a platform to be something that you didn't want to be. Like, so I had to backtrack on that. But I think it's important for us to know our people and know what they want so we can put them in the best position. Hence why every time something pops up, I drop a certain name. It's like, oh, I got to make sure he's good.
Yep. But now
he's the only person who voiced that's what he wanted.
You're right, and that's where you got to be real careful. And I think that's where, once again, we get in trouble is because we get our favorites, and then you.
I don't think that's not for me. That's not.
I'm not saying for you. I'm not saying, but have you even now, we've got certain people that I'm going to say are getting groomed that should not be getting groomed. There's other people that should be in that position.
Well, we're going to have a sidebar conversation on that.
We can't have a sidebar.
So, but on our shift, there is no other NCO who works as hard as the person that I always put up.
And I'm not talking about our shift. Okay. But have you been in a unit where you've watched?
No, I get what you're saying though.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about our
and you're
shift.
like, wait a minute, I'm better than him. I know I'm better. I do more work than him, but he's the guy that's on day shift all the time. I'm on mids, I'm on swings. I'm on swings and mids.
I've also been the person that was always TDY. I was always gone.
And nobody has a clue who you are.
So you get forgotten about sometimes in that aspect.
You think that's a diversity?
I don't think so.
I don't think that has.
I think that's a forgotten factor because you're out of sight, out of mind.
That's going to go back to the everybody
sees you.
That's going to go back to inclusion. That's going to go back to.
That's inclusion on that part because it's like when I was crew chief and I was crew chief and I had like two people that was like on my level and that was it. But they weren't gone as much as I was. And if I was gone, they was gone with me. Yeah. But they're the same people that drank with the senior and the master sergeants and
The
everybody
friend.
else.
We had this conversation a couple
On the weekend,
yeah.
they had that FaceTime. I'm doing my own thing on the weekend. I ain't got time. Like when I'm back in town, I'm gonna do me. Like that's it. I don't want to see y'all. I've been with y'all for a month and a half straight, or 6 months straight, or doing this and doing that. So like when I came up and I was number 2 in the squadron, like I had a lot of hate when I got back to work.
I hear you try to plug yourself real quick.
I do what I do, man. You know it is what it is.
Real quick, you try to plug it. But it's cool.
When I was number 2, for the promotion board, man, they was just
like he beat you in that one game.
They was like, how he do this, and he got a DUI, and he got this, and he got that. The people, thank God, like my first shirt and my commander, like they looked out. Yeah. Because my name wasn't even like in the running until my shirt walked in there and said, well, what about Glover? He done made us all this money this year doing this, doing that, doing that. So like, it is what it is. That's why I always shout out Joey every time I do anything, man. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. Yeah. So like,
and that's understandable, man. Like just because you have a setback don't mean you're not the person you've always been.
Yeah.
Like this 365 days, 66 on a leap year, you mess up one day or 1 hour, 30 minutes, however long it takes, does that mean you are the biggest POS of all time? No. Like it's a lot to touch.
And I think that's where the Air Force like really takes it wrong because
now, I think we say the Air Force, but that's human error.
It's human error,
that's
but
leadership,
like
that's not explaining it to the commander making the wrong decision. Like all that stuff can be explained and summed up.
It's not written down anywhere.
It's a lot of things because I felt like when I got in trouble for my stuff, everything else that I did before that got thrown out the window.
You felt like that. Yeah. However, you still sitting here.
Yes.
Because you felt that way because the hammer was coming down.
Yeah. It wasn't even like the hammer coming down. It was everybody else before my shirt. So like my section chiefs, my flight chief, the pro suit, so everybody else before it got to my shirt and my commander, literally everything else that I did for them, I had already been there for like 6 years already. And they didn't give a damn about none of that.
So was that your perception or that was a reality? Like
that was a reality.
I'm coming from a section chief position at the last base and a flight chief position. That is actually a reality. Because the reason I say it's a reality is when you defend a person like that, you are basically putting
your stripes on.
You're attaching their name to them. And if they screw up again, that's on you. You fought for this dude. You talked this guy up, and okay, now they screwed up.
For sure.
Now that's all on me.
Yeah. So in my eyes, just Fitz. Nothing official. I feel like it's deeper than the first shirt, commander, chief, the triad. I feel like it's deeper than that to make sure you still in this position you are in today. Somebody at some point, whether they told you or not, I feel like vouched for you.
Yeah, because those people are not working for you.
They don't know you as an individual.
Yeah.
They just know of you. They don't know you. But I feel like somebody vouched for you at some point, whether you know it or not.
I had one person. I had one pro soup out of the 6 that we had. He stood up. He said some things that he had to say, and I appreciate him for that to this day. But like, it was just the feeling of like isolation. Like when that happened, like I literally got.
I think it's natural.
I got picked up from jail. Homeboy looked at me. My old section chief picked me up. He said, "You know your career over, right?" And I said,
"I hear petty."
I said, "What?"
That's crap.
I said, "Yo, you got to be tripping." I said, "You can miss me with all that." I got out of his car. I walked home. I ain't got time for that, bro.
Yeah. So I don't personally. I don't know any chief who I've ever spoken to throughout my 10-year, 11-year career
that ain't been in trouble.
That ain't been in trouble. You're right. So. Whatever, man. Whatever.
It is what it is.
Like, how do you know the true character of an individual who hasn't been through some type of turmoil?
You don't know how they gonna react when something goes south.
Exactly. Is everything gonna always be peaches and cream? Hell no. But how do they react? How do they continue to show that ambition, to continue to show that growth, to continue to show that like go get 'em attitude, even facing these derogatory like incidents or circumstances?
You have to utilize. So, what was it? 2 years ago, 2 EPers ago was a UI or referral EPR because I was on the UIF because I got in trouble. Went to mental health, had a lot of personal stuff going on, and I let it spill over. But with what I said, did I deserve to get in trouble? Absolutely. But the thing is, I don't hide that UIF. I don't hide that referral EPR. I actually use that as
a platform.
Here's the deal. I got in trouble. And even when I'm giving somebody paperwork, I'm telling them, this is paperwork from me. This is here it is. but I've been there. I know what's going through your mind. I know what it's like. And then that's where
I think that's what better prepares you to be in that senior NCO tier.
I got that LOR, that UIF. I got both of them printed out, and they're framed to remind me of where I came from, dog. And like, if one of my troops, I gotta write them some paperwork. I came back from this, dog. You forgot you missed a step. You can come back. We gonna be all right.
Let's be honest. There's some senior NCOs out there that probably never had paperwork, never got in trouble.
You do have those guys who kind of skate by,
but
in terms of like the perfectionist type of thing, right?
But the ones that have been through something, been through that trouble or whatever, those are the best ones. Not all the time.
I'm not gonna say all the best ones.
But they're more relatable.
Yeah, more relatable. That's a better term.
Yeah, because you're gonna have those guys that we call your fast burners that don't get in trouble. You're gonna have those guys that progress through the ranks.
Well, I'm kind of a fast burner. I've been in trouble. Almost every stripe I got, I had held because I did something crazy.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm very reactive, and I apologize for my actions.
The turn up is real when you promote.
Hey man, it be like that sometimes. no, like seriously, like I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. I don't. I think it shows a person's true character, or in my case, it showed my true character that I'm genuine, no matter who it is. Whether you up or down the chain of command, my reaction is gonna be the same. And I think it's displayed, and I continue to progress.
And where's that come from? It all comes back. It all goes back to that competitive nature, because when you're going through that paperwork, when you're going through that in trouble. For me, when it happened with me, I looked at it as a competition. I was like, look, you guys, and like you said, that supervisor told you, your career's done. Okay, watch.
Bet.
Watch what I do.
That's that chip on your shoulder, that anything that requires greatness requires an obsession, right?
I became obsessed.
You are obsessed
I'm definitely
with proving them wrong, as am I.
I already told
as anybody else who's obsessed with winning, things like that. Like, there is nothing wrong with that.
Y'all use that as motivation. That's y'all's motivation.
I told him I'm going to outrank him.
Dude, that's the only reason I'm here right now in Turkey. That's the only reason I'm here. Is because I was told you will get MEB'd out of the military. You're not going to stay in. I've lost my leg.
Challenge accepted.
I made master, so I did that. I deployed to Bagram to Afghanistan for 8 months, back-to-back rotations. So that's checked off. Got a UIF, got a referral EPR, recovered. Didn't lose a stripe. Checked off. The only thing I haven't ever done was PCS or going to remote. Now this is situated. So I'm not here for me. What I'm trying to do is make it to where another person in my situation can come back and say, okay, why can this dude stay in? How come he could be a maintainer? You see amputees all the time in security forces and in EOD because they have those positions. They have those office positions they can put you in. When you're a tech sergeant, you lose your leg. When I first did, you had debrief. You can only be in debrief for 2 years.
Yep.
And then you have to go back out to the line. And
you
that's
don't feel like
what
that was a
about.
necessity though?
What's that?
Like the fact that they had to put you behind the desk to heal up properly.
So necessity for me, no. Necessity for my leadership, absolutely. Because how many times do you deal with an amputee? How many times do you deal with a guy getting his leg cut off?
Yeah.
So was
different circumstance.
Yeah, did they need to stick me in there so they could figure out what to do and how to react? Absolutely. Yeah. Because like I said, everybody, first assumption, before you met me, if you heard a guy, hey, I'm going to lose my leg, what would you think? Okay, he's getting MEB'd out of the military.
Yeah, for sure.
It takes a lot to stay in the military, especially in our career field.
I can see that. Like, even the cool thing about you is you are cool with the joke. Even if nobody will say anything, you'll crack the joke before anything. Yeah. So
first of all, he get mad if you don't make fun of him.
For real.
I do.
Like, seriously. So that's why when he walks in the room and somebody's new in the room, I will crack on your leg. Like, your leg means, I ain't gonna say it don't mean nothing to me.
No, yeah.
But I'm just saying, in terms of me judging you as a person, I don't look at you as a person without a leg.
Yeah.
Because even without his leg, he's more athletic, he's more competitive than more than half the people I know.
Boy, and that spring leg he got, that 90s on, he be flying off the line.
I feel like it's an advantage. You know when he's like, pull up.
Look. It's like he got a rubber band back there.
Yeah, this dude can set his leg to athletic and be good to go.
It won't feel anything.
Just sit there clicking. Yeah, like what?
He be like, hold up.
He got a different mode. Like, see how you not athletic? You can't change that, right? He can't. Let me
Hold on,
Like,
Glove. Hold
that
on. No, hold on, Glove. I'm stronger than Glove.
Hey, you
I'm
hear my
stronger
man?
than Glove.
He said I'm not athletic in terms of sports, but I'll lift you anything.
I will outlift you.
Hey, T-Pat in the building, baby.
Why you coming at me? I didn't say
laughed
nothing
hard.
Nah,
because it was hilarious.
it wasn't meant as disrespect. Y'all know that. It wasn't
Come on now.
you know me, man.
Just chill.
Come on,
Hey,
man.
chill.
He said, hey, hey, you know when people start joning, like, who laughing? Like, you got to attack
No, for real. You don't want to attack the person who made fun of you. You want to come at me.
That's because the person who made fun of you got the jokes.
Yeah, he giggled. He said, Kiki, you. Like, you did all that.
It was hilarious.
Hey, he know the vibes. But no, seriously.
It was unnecessary, but it was funny.
It'd be like that. But no, like I respect you, man. Like seriously, on another level, I respect you in the fact that you are not afraid of somebody making a joke. You're not afraid to step up, make fun of yourself. You're not afraid to stop making people feel awkward for feeling some type of way about seeing your leg. Mm-hmm. You know, I think that's really commendable.
And he damn sure not afraid to put somebody on their ass either.
Boy.
You don't want to run across this boy on the football field.
Hey, we've been on the same team this whole time.
He must have put you on. Oh, I was about to say, he must have put you on your ass.
Not me.
Nah.
No, okay.
Somebody bigger than both of us.
Oh,
Yeah.
He did.
I think I know.
We done drew up a whole play and came across. I looked back, I saw feet.
I tell you what, I almost pulled my hamstring running away from this guy.
He's fast.
Yes.
That is deceptive. It's probably an advantage. Like I said, it's an advantage.
That spring-loaded leg he got, this ain't the one. This is not the my player
That-
load right here. This ain't it.
That's not that I run fast.
Is it your lifting leg? Is it different?
No.
it's,
My lifting leg, really? That thing weighs.
Dang, bro.
That thing weighs like 20 pounds.
oh, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
no, it's my running blade.
His spring,
Okay.
yeah,
my
blade.
running blade.
Sorry,
I haven't seen all your.
it's
your
spring-loaded,
legs.
Pat. That thing got a curve in it. He plant that thing in the
You sound like
ground.
Megan Thee Stallion. Like they're
Boom.
over the curve.
Yeah.
We'll just say it got a
Dude,
calf.
wow.
I'm gonna need both of y'all to chill.
You wild.